So, I've been playing quite a bit of Path of Exile's new Crucible League. If you want the quick version of my opinion, if you're a new player, this league is as good as any to just jump into the game for the first time. Whether you want to try making your own build, follow a build guide, whatever you want to do, just have some fun. But if you're a long-time player thinking about returning, I'd say probably play it since Diablo 4 isn't out yet. But in my opinion, Crucible is another filler distraction league, and you really won't be missing out on much if you just decide to skip out on this one. But is it just me? Am I the problem? Am I just being a salty bitch because the two builds I wanted to play got nerfed mid-league? Maybe. Perhaps I'm just numb to the fun I could be having because I've already spent over 3,000 hours playing the game. Perhaps. But here's what I think. The big old Triple G grinding gear games themselves are afraid of making Path of Exile too much fun. Because if they do, then when they decide to release Path of Exile 2, everyone will hate how fucking boring the game is. Hey, whoa, hot spicy, take coming through, watch out. But before you start writing a comment to complain, I understand that it's super easy for me to shit on the game's design choices, especially when I don't have a clue what's going on behind the scenes. And last time I checked, I'm definitely not the one in charge of this rickety old boat, but this is all just my opinion, so let's get into it. I want to first talk about some of the problems with Crucible itself as the league mechanic. This user interface is so fucking garbage, man. I mean, I have the creative ability of a sickly old dying snail, but I swear to God this thing was made in Microsoft Paint and coded together using probably a combination of ChatGPT and off-brand duct tape or something. Please, would it hurt to take your one UI developer off of working on PoE 2 and bring him back to work on the main game for just a week? And these mobs drop absolutely no loot. I mean, yeah, okay, they can sometimes drop the same loot that a regular old rare mob might, but the ones spawned in a Crucible are far tankier and way more deadly than normal rares. Hell, I mean, most of these Crucible rares, and especially some of the unique ones, are stronger and way tankier than map bosses and some even pinnacle bosses. They are just not rewarding whatsoever and just a huge waste of time. Finally, whether it be by some miracle of God, or you happen to grind for hours upon hours, or maybe you're actually lucky and you're playing one of the many builds that don't even benefit from this league mechanic, when you actually manage to roll a weapon or shield with good enough Crucible passives, keeping in mind that it's not easy to roll passives onto unique items, combining the trees is a complete gamble and very time consuming, plus there's a pretty high chance you'll roll a passive that will brick that tree. At that point, the league is basically over for you. In my opinion, there's literally no good reason to interact with this mechanic past one or two good weapons. But what if I roll Cell's Divine Orb or roll certain base types like Siege Axes trying to hit the Cell's unique passive for them big boy bucks? Well, to that I say good fucking luck, because the weightings are such bullshit. Honestly, you'd be better off just trying to hit it with a Chance Orb. Basically, to summarize my thoughts on the mechanic itself, if you're playing in Trade League, I would say skip the mechanic entirely and just farm currency in other ways. That way you can just buy a well-rolled item that someone else did all the hard work to craft. And if you're playing SSF like I am, then have fun slaving away for what is effectively one big gamble between a net loss and a marginal upgrade. Now that's all super negative and all that, but what do I think would actually make this league kinda good to play? Well, the most important things that need to be fixed in my opinion are, for one, the user experience of the mechanic. It has a really scuffed user interface, and honestly it's just another inherently flawed stand in a small circle bullshit, like bring back the ultimatum freeze time tech or something. And the other thing is the loot, or lack of loot that drops from the Crucible monsters themselves. I don't really care if the mobs are giga tanky, hell, I don't even care if they're really scary and hit me like a fucking truck. Just make the time I have to spend fighting these monsters rewarding in some way. Maybe the unique Crucible monsters could drop items with their passive trees fully revealed or something. Maybe give rare and magic mobs some way of dropping raw currency, or just overall buff their drop rates. It honestly feels like it's the ruthless drops. And definitely, at least in my opinion, increase the rate of getting the unique item Crucible forges, or just make them able to have passive trees normally, but maybe level at a slower rate. And for the passives themselves, they need to be less of a potential brick for your build and more of a trade-off. I want to trade a finger or a toe for a node. That's to say, lose a little bit of damage, get some defense, vice versa. Not my entire armor leg. Like, why are you going to give me good elemental damage, then take away my elements, or give me good aura effect, but then shit on my mana in a league where you just took away half of the reservation nodes I had access to? That's enough about the League mechanic itself. What about the other changes that were made in patch 321? Well, basically, I don't really care. New Vol Gems? Great. They're all mid, and only one of them is actually seeing any use. Breach and Abyss reworks? Pog. Well, except for the fact that the drop rates got nerfed to smithereens, and now it's kinda ass. Well, I thought it was nerfed to smithereens, and that's what everybody says, but I was gonna test this out in standard, and I kinda just hit the god RNG, so fuck me, I guess. I definitely wish I would have gotten this in the league, though. Maybe the reworked league mechanics aren't so bad after all. But what about the other balance changes? Well, actually, it's almost the entirely same meta that it's been for the past few leagues. Well, except for the fact that Seismic Trap got nerfed for the 10th time and is finally dead from what I can tell. Oh, and both skills are a little less shit to league start with because of the extra projectiles that are on the tree now. I'm gonna throw the Pewee Ninja week 1 builds for both Crucible and Sanctum Trade and SSF in no particular order, but I bet you couldn't even tell these apart if I hadn't told you that Seismic Trap got nerfed. Overall, though, I'll say that I don't think it's very likely this league will change too much at this point, and it definitely feels like another distraction league. I mean, I don't think a league mechanic has even gone core since, like, Expedition or something. Just keep waiting on Path of Exile 2 to come out. At least the player count is up, I guess. I mean, if you're a new player looking to fill the void until Diablo 4 comes out, or you're tired of playing the alternatives like Last Epoch, Grim Dawn, etc., or maybe you're just looking for a new ARPG to play in general, then now's a great time to start. I mean, you don't know the greener pastures that we once had in this game, but the state of the game is not bad, it's just stale. But you definitely won't have that problem if you're new, because you'll be overwhelmed with the passive tree and 3,500 league mechanics and all that other shit, so definitely go for it. I mean, why not? It's free. Well, I mean, I feel like you definitely want to buy some stash tabs, but free to get addicted. And if you're a longtime player like I am, then maybe do like I'm going to and play this, then swap over to D4 until the next league / PoE 2 comes out, whenever they decide to finally get around to it. You know, beta this year, beta next year, beta when I'm fucking dead, who knows. If you made it this far into the video, thanks for listening to me complain about Path of Exile's Crucible League. If you want to see more reviews, scuffed shorts, or honestly whatever the hell I'm even making at this point, consider subscribing. My next video will probably be out in the next week or so. I actually have quite a few ideas for videos that I've tried and I just think they're kind of boring, so I just scrap them or leave them to rot in the depths of my hard drive. So I'm not sure which one of these ideas is actually going to make the next video, but you can expect another scuffed production regardless, and goodbye.